What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another stimulus update. So I want to address not only what's happening right now in this current $1.9 trillion stimulus package, I want to address what we could potentially see and what we are already starting to see leading up to the next bill, which is actually the infrastructure bill, or President Biden's Build Back Better plan, or according to some, this is going to have more stimulus in this current bill than what we saw in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. So let's address that. First, right now, we are seeing that the $1,400 stimulus checks are going out. The American people are seeing these. However, many are very upset because they are still waiting. We are seeing people on Social Security. And if you are on Social Security and you have not gotten your stimulus check yet, please let me know down in the comment section below. Just write Social Security no or Social Security yes if you did get your stimulus check so far. However, right now, I have seen a lot of comments down in the comment section of every single one of my videos, and from what I can tell, nobody on Social Security has received their $1,400 stimulus checks. That is not good. In my opinion, that is actually ridiculous that people that are on Social Security, that the IRS knows about, knows how to get them a payment, knows exactly where to send it, when to send it, the IRS has not done that yet. These are even people with direct deposit accounts and people with direct express cards, which means they have a way for the IRS to send them a payment instantly and they can access it. Well, it seems like the IRS is a little bit slow, and I understand why. They have a lot of stuff currently on their plate. Now, the other thing the IRS is currently working on, which I think is great, is they are actually going to do what they said they're going to do. They are going to automatically send out the refunds of that overpayment of the up to $10,200 in unemployment income taxes. If you paid any unemployment income taxes up to $10,200, that's in income, not in taxes, then you will get your money back. If you do not make over $150,000 in this past year. So I doubt there's many of you that have made over $150,000 and still received some form of unemployment income. But if you did, no. You will not be able to get this waiver for this income tax. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is good because many people were worried they had to file an amended tax return. The IRS said do not do that, and now they're going to come out and automatically send you that money. Here's what we don't know. The IRS is going to do this, but what we don't know is when. We don't know if it's going to happen soon, if it will happen after they get all the current filings done, which I think they're behind like by 20 million people right now. And that's business and individual. And then we don't know, will people, if this takes too long, will they also get some form of interest paid on top of it? We don't know that yet, but we hopefully will get answers soon. The good news is, if you already filed, the IRS is just going to send you this money. However, again, we don't know the timeline, but if you have not filed, here's the difference. If you haven't filed your income taxes yet, here's what we know. Currently, H&R Block and TurboTax are saying that we will have to give them time because as of right now, they need some time to get this figured out and change and make these changes into their system. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take. H&R Block and TurboTax did not specify how long that would take, but what we do know is many people are not happy with either one of these tax preparers anyway, simply because their stimulus payments that were supposed to be sent to them got sent to H&R Block and TurboTax for many people. Well, that creates a whole nother host of issues, and this could ultimately delay stimulus by days or possibly weeks. So we will see what happens there, but as always, I will keep you updated. One thing that was mentioned before here on this channel is that Congress decides, why does Congress decide to make these bills so difficult? And here's what I want to say, because this was a question that I asked a couple times just today, was why is Congress making these bills so difficult and the IRS is now struggling to implement these changes? Well, the reason they make these bills so difficult is because they don't know what would be easier or not. They simply come up with this great idea, which I think the child tax credit is a brilliant idea. I think that's great. That's something that I think should have been done a long time ago. But again, it will help bring children out of poverty, but this needs to be a permanent fixture. It cannot be a 1 year, one time, one and done thing, or else it really doesn't do anything. It gives people an additional, a little bit more income, but outside of that, it's not going to bring people out of poverty and keep them out. It's going to bring them out and they'll go right back in as soon as this is over. But child tax credit, I think is a great idea. The stimulus checks was a great idea. The paying no taxes for up to a certain amount of money for unemployment income, I think is an incredible idea. I think this is another thing that, and I addressed this last week as well, that if we are really going to focus on keeping people in their jobs, what we need to do, because right now the way unemployment is set up is you have a 1 week waiting week, where if you are fired, you're let go, you're laid off, whatever. You have to wait 1 week, let that 1 week go by where you get no income, and then you're filing, and then you can claim your unemployment income at that point. Problem is, the first month of unemployment for most people is a difficult month. They usually don't want to go back to work. They find it difficult because they feel like if they were fired or let go, maybe they did something wrong. Maybe they could have made some changes, and they don't want to go back into the same type of industry that they were just let go from, because what if it was them? What if they are not right for that particular job? Well, that creates a whole different mentality for people, and then because of that, according to studies, they struggle the first month to find a job. And so what we're hearing is, and this is what I addressed last week, is there's actually talks where we could potentially see unemployment income for possibly a month or 2 months, have that be waived, where the unemployment income, you have no taxes on that. That's waived. That would be really good, but we will see. Now, what we do know is right now the truth is that no matter what package gets pushed through, it's going to be difficult to implement. Right now, what we're hearing is that the stimulus package is actually going to be easier than the next package, which is President Biden's Build Back Better plan. And Nancy Pelosi, according to her, she says we should have more details on this soon. But nobody has given an actual timeline of when we will see this money. But what we do know is that Joe Manchin actually opposes passing a bill through budget reconciliation, or at least the majority of the bill. I can tell you right now, this right here is just mind-blowing. These are where the big changes are coming. Joe Manchin says he supports any method where Democrats get bipartisan support on the next bill. But he said he will not support a change in the filibuster, which means he would not want to see the filibuster just taken out. However, he is on the fence, according to other reports, he's on the fence about making the filibuster harder and making it a talking filibuster. Now, he did say that he would like to see it where it's more painful. That if you want to, invoke the filibuster and you want to go through this, then it's painful. You got to stand up there, you got to talk, you got to fight for it. Well, that's essentially what the talking filibuster would do. But even though he said he would support that, he didn't come out and actually say a talking filibuster. So until we get clarification on that, right now, he's pretty much just on the fence. He also said he would not support a vote to overrule the Senate parliamentarian, and he would like to see smaller bills passed to get bipartisan support. And that's where things become very difficult, is because the Democrats right now have 2 additional budget reconciliations that they can use in 2021. So if let's say they go and get some bipartisan support from Republicans and they pass smaller packages, maybe a $250, $300, $500 billion bill, $500 billion package, that could potentially get bipartisan support. However, and here's where we're at, this large, and again, at this point, this is a large $2 to $4 trillion infrastructure bill that will most likely be broken up in order to achieve the things that Joe Manchin wants. And the main thing that he wants is bipartisan support. We know Republicans want bipartisan support as well because they have no power. And so any bipartisan support they get obviously means there's something in the bill that they wanted. Now, I doubt there's going to be things pulled out of this bill because President Biden is pretty adamant on keeping exactly what he wants. This is his bill, his priority. He's going to get it done. So we will see. But here's the real problem. The problem is the bills that get pushed together, that get, they make a bunch of different smaller packages. Here's the issue. When they get pushed together, the bills that do have bipartisan support are going to pass with no issue. They have no issues because they're going to have bipartisan support. Everybody's going to love them. Be like, yes, this is what we need. Perfect. Let's pass these. Well, as soon as Democrats pass all the bills that have bipartisan support in these smaller packages, then what's next? Well, this is where the real problem comes in. This is where we will see the other pieces of legislation that have no Republicans on board. This will most likely get put into a budget reconciliation. Well, what we do know is that Joe Manchin is not opposed to a budget reconciliation per se. He's opposed to it if we start with a budget reconciliation. He is not opposed to it in the grand scheme of things. He just wants to see there's some effort on the Democrats' part in order to get Republicans on board. But in order to get the rest of this package passed, Democrats will most likely have to move forward with the budget reconciliation. This is exactly what Bernie Sanders said. This is exactly what many other lawmakers have said as well. That yes, we could pass smaller packages, but the problem is at some point, the things that Republicans do not want will eventually pass, and it will pass through budget reconciliation. So here's what this means. That we are going to see a lot of provisions stripped from this next bill if they can't get support or bipartisan support on this. So here's what I want to mean, or here's kind of what I mean. If we see, let's say Mitch McConnell says, no, we don't support that. No, we don't like that. Okay, we're going to take all those bills, we can push them to the side. We're going to have just those few bills that Republicans and Democrats can agree on. That will be the bipartisan support. And I addressed this earlier this week where Democrats are calling bipartisan support on the $1.9 trillion stimulus package because it had bipartisan support from the voters, not from lawmakers, from the voters. So we could see them go with the same roundabout thinking and roundabout definitions of bipartisan, but my guess is they're going to try a few different tactics. And this is one where we see smaller bills pass first, then the budget reconciliation pass in the end. And my guess is there's going to be a bunch of things stripped out of it because of the Senate parliamentarian and the Senate's Byrd rule. So again, you got to remember the budget reconciliation, anything that does not pertain to the federal budget gets yanked out. So that's what caused a lot of issues in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package as well. Now, I know this all sounds very confusing, and sometimes it is, but you're probably wondering why Democrats would even do this. And the reason why they're going to do this is for one man, for Joe Manchin, Senator Joe Manchin, who is a Democrat, a centrist Democrat, but he is a Democrat. Some people say he's a Democrat in name only. However, he says no. He tries to do what he feels is right. He tries to do what he feels his state wants him to do, his state of West Virginia. But we will see. So, as I get any more information on this, I promise I will come back and update you on everything that we're hearing. But right now, it's just back and forth. Democrats want this, Republicans want that. The IRS is still trying to figure out how to get all the stimulus checks out. They're still trying to figure out, if some states are still trying to figure out if we're going to see the unemployment benefits kind of lapse a little bit, maybe for a week or two. Most states are pretty much just pushing through, going to be able to send this money out. However, some states do expect we will see a slight miss. There'll be maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks that people do not receive their $300 per week boost, but then they'll get it made up in the end. So maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, they'll get an additional $6, maybe $900. So we will see what happens there. But as always, consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.